Today, we are breaking down a book with a really radical premise, one that's been a total game changer for a lot of entrepreneurs. It's called 10x is easier than 2x, and its whole point is designed to do one thing: get you off that hamster wheel of slow, incremental growth for good.
So let me ask you, does this feel familiar? You're working harder and harder, you're pushing for that next level of growth, let's say a 2x improvement, but it just feels like you're doubling your effort for pretty small gains? Well, this is the exact problem the book zeroes in on, that exhausting, grinded-out path of trying to grow by just doing more of the same stuff.
And here's the solution they offer, and it's completely counterintuitive. It is not about 10xing your hustle, not at all. It's about a radical simplification. The real goal is to get that huge exponential leap in results by strategically removing the vast majority of what you're probably doing right now.
To really get this, we have to understand that there's a fundamental shift in thinking here. See, chasing a 2x goal and chasing a 10x goal, they are two completely different games, played by two completely different sets of rules.
So let's just compare these two paths side by side. The 2x path, that's linear. You're trying to optimize the 80% of activities that, let's be honest, only give you minor results. It's all about doing more of the same. But the 10x path, that's exponential. It forces you to just eliminate that 80% entirely. It requires a total reinvention, simplifying your focus down to only the critical few things that truly move the needle.
And this is the core mechanic at play. You see, a 2x goal, it's achievable with your current methods. You can probably hustle your way there. But a 10x goal is so big, it feels almost impossible. And that's the point. It forces a complete mental reset. You literally can't just work harder. You have to abandon that 80% of low-value work and just zero in on the 20% that is your true core focus.
And that brings us to the real strength of this whole 10x framework. Its power doesn't come from what you add to your plate. It comes from what you have the courage to subtract from it. There's this fantastic analogy in the book about Michelangelo and his masterpiece, the Statue of David. When people asked him, "How did you create this?" he reportedly said he just removed everything that wasn't David. And that is the absolute essence of 10x. It's about chipping away all the non-essential stuff, the projects, the clients, the habits, to reveal the masterpiece that's underneath. This whole process of subtraction, it's designed to do one thing and one thing only, to push you into your unique ability. Now, this is the zone where you create the most value, where you are truly, genuinely irreplaceable. The 10x framework, it basically acts as a forcing function to get you to operate exclusively from this place of mastery. And the reward for operating from that unique ability, well, it isn't just financial. The book argues that it unlocks what it calls the 4 freedoms. That's freedom of your time, so you can focus on what really matters. Freedom of money, so you can use it as a tool, not a constraint. Freedom of relationship, through real collaboration. And, finally, freedom of purpose in the work that you do. Now, what's fueling this entire process is a huge mindset shift. To even chase a 10x goal, you have to move from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Scarcity is based on need. You feel like you have to justify your ambitions to other people. But an abundance mindset, that's based on want. You unapologetically own your vision, not because you need it, but because you want to create it. And that psychological shift is what unlocks 10x thinking.
Okay, this all sounds pretty great, right? A clear path to exponential growth, more freedom, working in your zone of genius. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But if this framework is so powerful, what's the catch? Why isn't everybody doing this?
And this brings us to the reality check, because actually implementing this strategy is a whole lot harder than it sounds on paper.
The single biggest barrier to going 10x is not tactical. It's not about finding the right systems or hiring the right people, even though those things are important. The real fight, the real struggle, is internal. It is almost entirely psychological.
So let's be really clear about the hurdles here. Going 10x requires you to let go of the very identity and the activities that made you successful in the first place. I mean, think about that. You have to consciously stop doing 80% of your work. You have to say no to perfectly good clients, to good opportunities, simply because they aren't 10x opportunities. That takes an immense amount of courage and clarity.
The buyer versus seller mindset is a really powerful tool to use here. A seller, they're desperate. They'll conform to whatever just to be accepted. A buyer, on the other hand, has clear standards. They know exactly what they want, and this is the crucial part, they are willing to walk away from anything that doesn't meet those standards. To go 10x, you have to adopt the buyer's posture in every single situation.
So what's the ultimate takeaway here?
how should you think about applying this framework in a practical, day-to-day sense?
This brings us to what I think is the most important takeaway. 10x is not a step-by-step formula. It is a filter. Think of it as a new lens that you look through to make every single decision, both in your business and in your life.
This quote from the book just sums it up perfectly. Once you have that clear, almost impossible-seeming 10x vision, you run every opportunity, every task, every relationship. You run it all through that filter. And you're going to find that most of what you're currently doing simply can't make it through.
So, we'll leave you with a final question to think about. It's not just about what you would have to do to get a 10x future. The real question is, who would you have to become? And maybe even more importantly, what parts of your current self, your habits, your identity, your work, what would you have to be willing to let go of? To explore this framework in full, you can find a link to the book 10x is Easier Than 2x right there in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more deep dives. We'll see you in the next one.